Hey, this is George,
Hey, this is Frazier.
and this is Real Talk with George and Frazier. What's going on, brother?
Nothing much, bro. I'm doing good. Getting ready for NBA finals coming up.
Oh
I'm going
yeah.
for Suns.
Well, it's definitely all good, man. I'm not doing so well, man. I got a branch hit my eye this morning, man, so it's been killing me. But I'm still here banging. We got a great show. We
Oh
got a
yeah.
great show. Frazier, tell them who's on the show.
Maybe we got Mr. Rashad Butler, baby. We got it in the
Oh
third
yeah.
round draft pick. What's happening?
What up? What up? What
Welcome to Real
up?
Talk.
Hey, man, I'm
Thank you,
glad to
sir, for
be
being on the
here.
show.
No problem, man.
Absolutely,
Thank you for
absolutely,
having me,
absolutely. So, how was your fourth?
man. A lot of food. One thing about me, for those that don't know, I am all plant based,
Okay.
and I'm low on sugars. So the only two holidays out of the entire year that I indulge in meat and high in sugar is really 4th of July because my family does the barbecue with the barbecue chicken, the ribs, all the great desserts, and Thanksgiving. Those are the only two holidays and just to splurge and just to be like an actual fat kid again. But other than that, I go right back to my plant-based diet and nothing but water and low on sugars.
Nice.
Listen, man, I can definitely dig that. Okay, I've tried that whole thing, and I do it cyclically. I do it by
Uh-huh.
cycle, so to speak.
I get you.
And but my feasting holidays, so are Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those are the
Okay,
holidays that I
that's fair.
feast. You know what I mean? It's just I just can't, man. I had a sweet tooth since I was a kid. I still got a little sweet tooth. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it, man. However, I'm good, Frage. I got coconut sugar. I got stevia. I got all that stuff, but it's just like those particular holidays.
Coconut sugar.
Yeah, man, I'm good. That's a sugar diabetics.
I was
Yes.
just
Right?
going to say that. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Coconut sugar, coconut sugar, or the low fat sugar. We call it low
No, no,
fat.
coconut sugar. Don't sleep on it. The
No,
reason
no.
why I'm telling you that phrase is because it's 3 times sweeter than regular sugar. So even I have a rough time with that, Rashad, because I like sweets. So I'm
Yeah.
like, man, this
hmm
sugar is just too sweet. You know what I mean? Like cracking, just calling me. I'm just like, no, I gotta let it go. I gotta let it
I was
go.
trying to go plant based. I'm trying to go plant based. It's the hard to go plant based because the fact of the matter is that I still like meat, but I do
Uh-huh.
a little bit though. I'm a little bit. I love my salads. I love my thing. I love my green, zucchini, my Brussels sprouts. I love those.
So you know what? Here's the best thing to do because I always advise people of this when they say that it's very hard to do it. And I must admit it is, but like anything, you have to do it in stages. So when I first started, I think I first started back in April. I want to say right around when the pandemic really got serious.
Hmm.
And I started off for a month out of my whole entire day was all plant based. So I started off with lunch. So for that whole entire month of April or so, my lunch was nothing but plant based. Eventually, I moved on to breakfast, and then eventually I moved on to dinner. And then before I knew it, without even, I guess, consciously thinking about it, I looked around. I'm like, wait, hold on. Like my entire meal or meals in my entire day is all plant based. So I would say that took me honestly, roughly anywhere from I would say 3.5 to like 4.5 months to become fully plant based and so forth. Now again, I have my cravings here and there, but that's why I make sure to have the holidays where I binge eat. And again, the other day for 4th of July, man, I went in. I mean, I did not hold back anything. I mean, hey, listen, we had barbecue chicken, we had fried chicken, we had ribs, we had sugar cookies, we had. I went in because I knew I won't be able to do that again until Thanksgiving, which is fine.
Right.
So I'm good now. I'm good. Look at my diet. Back on my, my full plant-based diet now.
That's good. Let me ask you a couple questions. Well, first of
Okay.
all, for the fans that are listening and watching who don't know who you are, just introduce yourself and a little bit about your bio.
Okay, Rashad Butler. I was born and raised in West Palm Beach. Um, Went to the University of Miami and played football there. Then from there, I was drafted 89th overall in 2006 by the Carolina Panthers. Spent a good year with them. Then I moved on and spent my entire career just about with the Houston Texans from 2007 through 2012. And I spent my last year in the NFL in 2013 in Cleveland. And then from there, I just been, dibbling and dabbling in just about anything just to kind of stay busy. I'm very big I think in health and nutrition, so that right now has been taking up the majority of my time.
Okay. And what is it about health and nutrition? I mean, I'm the same thing as far as personal fitness trainer. I'm a certified sports nutritionist, but I just feel like, in our community, like we always suffer either from sugar or it's this or it's that, and we have like a hard time with our nutrition. What is it about our community per se that you think that the issue is? Is it just that we're hard-headed, or is it just, lack of knowledge?
You know what? I'm going to go with the latter. I think it's a lack of knowledge because I really didn't learn about nutrition per se until I was at University of Miami in college, where I minored in sports administration and sports nutrition. And that's really when I started to learn about nutrition. And actually, for me, I really didn't start adopting to my diet. I would say probably, it's gonna sound crazy to a lot of people, maybe my 4th or 5th or 6th year in the NFL. Because in college it's hard because, well, things have changed now with college athletes, starting to get paid. And listen, I'm all for that as far as them, profiting off their, image and likeness. But back when I played, that wasn't the case. So a lot of us were, flat out broken. A lot of us, we had to survive by eating, dollar menus from Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King. So, surprisingly, we ate bad, but we were able to perform so well because we were so young and our metabolisms were very high. And even my first couple of years in the NFL, I mean, I ate out almost every night just because, I had the money and, again, I was still young and my metabolism was high. But, once I started to pay attention to, some of my teammates that were, pro bowlers and all pros, and, I started to see how they ate and how, their body responded to their nutrition. And I said, but maybe I should give this a try now that I have, the assets and the time to do so. And I would say from my 4th or 5th year on, I just started to notice just a difference in my energy level. And even then I wasn't really fully in. I mean, I would do it here and there because I played offensive line. So, I had to be big. So like there were a lot of times where I had to binge eat just to make weight, like just pretty much just to keep my size up so I can pretty much withstand the rigors of my position and so forth. But, after retiring from the game, I lost a lot of weight. I mean, I went from, at my heaviest, I think I might have been 310 or so, 315. And now I'm about like 245. And I just feel a lot better as far as like joints and things of that nature. Now, again, I still have some degenerative effects from the game, in certain areas of my body just from, the rigors of my position and so forth. But I mean, man, I feel so much better compared to how I felt when I was,
Right.
Well, I'm gonna say for a fellow offensive lineman, I understand what you're talking about because I made a mistake one year. I was playing down pro. I dropped to like 245.
Okay.
I was constantly running. So, man, I got drugged almost 10 yards back. He got pancaked by a defensive player. I was so embarrassed. Everything but the kitchen sink. I got like 350.
Okay.
Then I thought I pushed everybody else back. But I know one thing I noticed when I was playing offensive line is that people don't notice there's a lot of energy that you put out play offensive line. And you constantly pushing somebody bigger than you.
Yeah, weight matters.
And faster.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I tell people all the time to play in the trenches at the college level and at the professional level, weight matters. I mean, you have to be big. You have to have some type of girth on you because if you're ass or you're not going to put to your potential that's going to help you to last. So you have to be big. So when I played, I mean, there were a lot of times where like I had to eat, steaks and, chicken and, all those, heavy foods that, sit on your stomach and so forth. But, now that I'm retired, I don't eat that way anymore, except on those 2 holidays, like I mentioned. But yeah, I mean, to go back to, your earlier question, I agree. I just think it's a lack of knowledge, because thinking back on it, I didn't really learn about nutrition until I was in college. And, unfortunately, in our community, there's not a lot of kids that are afforded the opportunity to go to college like I was afforded, to have my, college education fully paid for. So, a lot of kids don't learn about nutrition until it's too late, until, mom or dad have a health issue, or, grandma, granddad had a health issue, or until they may have a health issue. So it's really unfortunate. And I wish that, in our community, we can do a lot more of just bringing that to the attention of the youth, because I think it's very, very vital to, sustain a healthy life.
I definitely agree. I was a natural bodybuilder since 14. So I started my road to health and fitness, reading Muscle Fitness and Flex magazine and all that other stuff. Where I started to get knowledge, but I didn't get certified until I was in my 20s. So what I used to do was I used to cheat. Like I would go work out. I'm in Jersey. I'm up here in New Jersey, so I don't know if you ever heard of Diamond's Gym over here in Maplewood.
I have,
bodybuilding gym. That's where I used to train. So I used to go, after I got done working out, I get a bucket of chicken, and that's what I would eat to get my protein and my fats, and I wouldn't eat anything else. You know what I mean? Or I would go to McDonald's, because back then McDonald's used to get a burger for 39 cents.
I remember that.
I'd get 20 burgers and eat the meat and not eat the buns, because I didn't want any carbs or anything like that. Now that'd be my food for the whole day. And everybody be like, "Oh, how could you do that?" And I'm like, "I got my protein, I got my fats, I don't need anything else." So I used to do a lot of cutting and pasting until I got earlier, and they were like, "Yeah, all those triglycerides in your system." You know what I mean? Cutting and pasting is finally starting to catch up with you. But I used to just do that a lot when I was younger. In my 20s, that's all I would do. It's just cut and paste my diet just to get those short-term results that I wanted, and as I got older, even I started experiencing with a plant-based diet, because it was just like, what? I just want to try something new on my system. I'm regular, everything's fine, but I hear everybody talking about this plant-based diet. What is it? How does it work? This, that, and the third, because my main proteins are fish and fowl. You see what I'm saying? I don't, and the only time I eat a burger is in the summertime if I'm grilling, that's it. But I don't eat steak that much. I don't eat anything like that. It's either fish or it's fowl. And it's mainly fish. And the reason why is because I like what the omega-3s do for me in my system. You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah. So it's definitely all good. But
I learned too. I learned too, though, that when I was throwing out protein shakes you to have back in the old days. So I learned two ways to get big. You get big like all meat or a protein shake. I went to
water weight.
Now that was better for me, because the fact of the matter is that I was already at 300 some pounds. So when I went to 300, I went to 380. So 380. Wait, Joe, don't have the 380 went a 4.7 though. I went a 4.7, Joe. I went a 4.7. So
I gotta see that. I gotta see that. I gotta see that. Wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
3.8. Listen, man. Listen. Yeah. First off, what was your height at 380?
I was 5'10". That was all muscle.
Come on, man. Listen.
No, I said
that was not healthy. And again, I don't listen.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm not going to call you out, man, but I don't believe that, man. 5'10", 380, running a 4.7 on what clock?
Think I'm lying?
I do. I'm sorry, man. Because listen.
Hey, look at it. Ask some of my players. Ask my old teammates.
Small.
Look this way. I'm offensive lineman. I had the most tackles for interception than any offensive lineman in that season. I was averaging 12 tackles a game. I was winning safety now.
Okay. First off, you must have played both. Hold on. First off, you must have played both ways, correct? I'm hoping.
I played both ways.
Offensive line. Okay, that makes sense. So really, those tackles and those interceptions you got playing defensive line, correct?
And look, I gotta tell you offensive line, because our quarterback was so garbage, so he threw interceptions every game. He threw interceptions a game. So so matter of fact, this is how I want to tell you what's funny. It's a guy, ex-NFL player named Battle. He used to play for a short team up in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
We played him, and he put the interception off, and I ran him down. I literally ran him down. And then what happened was, listen. The reason why I said we was what people understand was I worked out like crazy in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
So my legs was huge. I worked out. I pushed hard, lift weights. I lift weights like crazy. So I can carry the weight. I'm not saying like you can run like that without normal. No, you got to work out.
Yeah.
You got to build yourself, your leg up. You got to build yourself up to do that. And the thing is, but then the worst thing about it is when you get an injury, it's worse.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was done. I would hurt so bad to, you walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I had to lose weight till we built myself back up. So I tell people like that's why I can train a certain way because I was big and had to lose weight to heal myself and get back.
Listen, I hear what you're saying, but again, man, I mean 5'10" and 380, man. That is not healthy. Now, again, if you would have said anywhere like 6'3", 6'4", 380, I could see that. You know what I mean? Because again, I played with dudes that were, 6'4", 5', 6'6", about 350, and I guess to the average person that may sound huge, but if you saw them, you wouldn't think they weighed that much, because they were pretty much tall and they had some like some nice leanness on them and so forth. But 5'10", 380, man, I mean that's like no offense, like a little butterball, man. Jeez, man.
I can show you a picture.
You did it.
Ask the picture. I was a runner. I played. The thing was, I was always a runner. So I played when I first got drafted.
5'10", 380, man.
I had to gain weight. I had to gain weight, man. But look though, remember I played fullback. When I first came on for team, I played fullback. So I was running. I played fullback first. So when I was off the line, I had to gain more weight. When I played fullback, I was 300.
Got you.
But I remember, I never played offensive line before.
Mm-hmm.
So when I played offensive line, it was a different beast. And I would get pushed around with 300 like somebody like a joke. But but on both sides of the ball, it come block me. I can block them faster, so I played tackle. See, tackle that kept me in shape. Then I moved to guard when I got hurt, started getting hurt more. Then I went to center. Now I tell you about this. The harder position, I think, to me, I don't know about anybody else, is center.
Mm-hmm. No.
Because do the fact of the matter, to hike the ball, get it in the man's hands, and get a 300-pound nose guard off your face, that's kind of hard.
No, listen. We used to give our centers a hard time. Now, I'll say this. To play center, you have to be smart because, most centers have to understand the game offensively in the same nature or manner the quarterback does, because they have to get everybody going on the right page up front. But if you're playing center, you have two guys beside you that can pretty much make up for your mistake. I think the hardest position or positions on the offensive line have to be the tackles, man, because, you're out there by yourself a lot of times, man. Yeah. And you don't have anybody beside you except the guard that's inside of you. But outside of you, you have a lot of space. You usually have a guy that is just as big or maybe a little bit smaller, but is a lot faster than you, man. So, listen, I have a lot of respect for centers because you have to be very cerebral to play that position because you have to, like I said, you have to see the game in the same way the quarterback sees the game offensively. But, listen, if you got two guys beside you, man, pretty much able to make up for, any mistake you make, then, to me, tackle is the hardest position, I think, on the offensive line.
Okay, I'll be playing tackle. I agree with you.
Okay.
I'll be playing tackle because, I used to have played two players at one time. And that ain't no joke. Mission linebacker, then you got the DN coming at you. That's a lot of work. Yeah. You got to do a lot. And a lot of people don't understand, too. Your footwork got to be on point. You got to be able to get back there on point. If you can't get back there, you already lost. And that ain't right. You agree, right? Because I don't know how you played with your day, but when I started playing, they started lining the ends 2 yards off you. Mm-hmm. So they already got a 2 yard head start, pretty much, before you even get started.
Even further now.
And I was short. So you got to remember, I was short. So you got guys 6'2", 6'3". So I had to get up a lot quicker. So I never got in a 3-point stance. I was already a 2-point stance for that exact reason. So you can't jump over my head. So I understand what you're saying. And that's why I tell you, it's you right. Tackle takes a lot. A lot of injuries.
Oh, man. So can you really, as we transition into another question.
Okay.
Can you tell the fans and listeners how difficult it is to make it to the professionals? You know, because everybody's like, oh, I want to go to the league,
Yeah.
whether it's basketball, football, or baseball. But, you know, they can only take a certain amount of people. I think basketball only takes 35 people a year. I think football takes less than 100 a year.
Yeah.
You know, what discipline do you need to have to be able to get there first, or is it just luck? You know, like in basketball, there's showcase shows that you put your kids through, and then they get seen, and this, that, and the third, and then bang, hopefully they get picked up, blah, 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 and they move on. What outlet is that for football?
Okay, so, you know, I like that question, and I'm going to go a number of ways with it. You know, first and foremost, I think you hit it on the head. I think you have to be extremely disciplined. I think once you get past high school, and, you know, the unfortunate part about it is not everybody's able to get past high school, first and foremost. Then once you get to college, you have to have discipline, and you have to have the will, because in college, you were competing against a number of kids. And see, in high school, you're not really competing against a number of kids, because let's be honest, in high school, you can walk on a high school field and you can tell within the first 5 minutes, okay, which players or which player is the best. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pretty much like you can put the players in high school in a bucket of tiers. You know what I mean? Just 3 tiers. Tier 1 are your guys that you know that are going to get a full ride to top-notch universities. Tier 2 are your guys that may get a full ride to a top-tier university, but those are the guys that probably going to have to go, you know, the HBCU route, which is nothing wrong with going that route, or Division I AA. And you have your tier 3 guys that pretty much, if they play at the next level, it's going to be, you know, hey, they went there on an academic scholarship just playing because, you know, that's something they did in high school.
Right.
But if you get in college, you know, for the most part, everybody's good. I mean, every player that has gotten a full scholarship is good. So I think first and foremost, you have to have that discipline to say, okay, you know, in order to separate myself from these group of guys who all come from, you know, the same type of, I guess, cloth I come from, which is, you know, they worked hard in high school and they got a full scholarship. I have to, you know, be disciplined, and I have to, you know, have a regimen. Things have to be strong mentally, because coaches, you know, are going to test you in college. You know what I mean? They are going to test you.
Right.
I'm going to say this. I don't really agree with some of the mind games that coaches may play in college, but it is what it is. And I just feel like if you sign up for that, you just have to be prepared for that. And then once, you know, you're in college, if you're fortunate enough to, you know, start and, you know, make the best of those opportunities, then from there, I mean, once you start getting looked at by NFL teams, or NFL teams are interested in your talents, then I think it becomes, I wouldn't say even harder, because I do think, honestly, college is a lot harder than the NFL as far as how we worked in college. I mean, we did some crazy things in college, thinking back on it, as far as conditioning, you know, working out. But I tell people this: the reason you do it in college, because you don't know any better. I felt like in college, even though at the University of Miami, we had a lot of guys from the NFL come back and work out with us, and the NFL is not as hard as this. And if you're able to do this and have this type of discipline and this type of mindset, you'll excel in the NFL. But at the end of the day, it's just one thing that makes the NFL so difficult is that you have all this money. Because I always tell people this: the season, to me, is easy. And that may sound crazy to a lot of fans, but the season to me is easy. The hardest thing about the NFL is the offseason, because for the first time in your life, you have all this money, all these resources, and you still have to perfect your craft. But the thing about it is you don't have anybody in your ear like you did in college telling you, listen, wake up at this time, you know what I mean? Do this, do that. And that was the biggest adjustment I had to make, you know, my rookie year, my rookie offseason. And I tell people that's why I only spent a year in Carolina, because I was drafted 3rd round by 2006, 89th overall, you know, top 100. And, you know, I had a 3-year contract, and Carolina let me go after my first year just because I was just very immature as far as doing things off the field. Because, again, I wasn't used to not only having all of that money, but just having all of that time. So I try to, teach younger players, like, listen, the hardest thing you're going to have to learn how to do in the NFL is you're going to have to learn how to work, and consistently without people in your ear telling you when to do those things. And I always tell players, the off season is going to be the hardest because, again, you have friends, you have women, you have all these, resources. And again, you have all this money to indulge in all those resources. And again, I tell people this, you can have fun, but you have to understand that your job and your craft becomes primary. Because again, if you don't excel in those things, then, you won't be able to have you. So for me, I just think that if you're disciplined, and if you have a strong mind and a strong will, then I think you can make it to the next level. But again, that's easier said than done. I mean, I could sit here all day and say, be disciplined and have a strong will, but that's easier said than done because, as all three of us know, life throws us many different challenges. And, I think the guys who are able to make it to that level and excel are the guys that are able to adapt and I guess deal with those challenges that are thrown at them, through college and even in the NFL.
I have one more question when it comes to that.
Okay.
I know everybody's excited about, college players now being able to be compensated in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
All of us have gone to college. I lost my meal card. I know what it's like to hustle. You know what I mean? I know what it's like to hustle this, that, and the third. I know it's like not to have any money in college. What you just said about the discipline part of it and off season and having money, will that now trickle down into college athletes, or do you think that there's a bigger support system there that'd be like, hey, I know you got a little bit of money, but maybe you should be doing this? You see what I mean? Because when you're in the NFL, nobody does that for you. But in college, your scholarship could be at risk. And look, you may not even care because you may be in a position where you got a few $1,000s from your name or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Where you could be like, I'll just pay that off. I'm good. You see what I mean? What major influences do you think money will have now? Will it help it or will it hurt it over the long run? Because I know you're going to have knuckleheads like somebody. Yeah. I just saw Master P's son signed a $2 million deal for something. He's in college, and I'm like, $2 million? Right. If it was $2 million, I never would have went to college. I'd have bought my first piece of property 10 years earlier, 20 years earlier, man. I'd have been through the roof. Why sit there and struggle when I could have, you know what I mean? Like $2 million is $2 million. Correct. See what I'm saying? Exactly. That's crazy. But what will that happen to college athletes mentally, do you think, with that now being part of the equation?
Well, okay, I'm gonna start off by saying this. One thing I do admire about this generation, or mainly the only thing I admire about this generation, is that that they think differently than we do. And what I mean by that is, I remember when I was in college and I was an athlete, what we saw and what we thought about, I was part of the bling bling era. So for us, when we first, got that big paycheck, we saw, our peers go out, buy cars, buy, jewelry, splurge, on women and things of that nature. So I think for a lot of us, the first time we got, our money, that's what we did. Now, some can say that's wrong, but again, I always tell people, you're always influenced by, people that you look up to. So the people that you look up to, there's a good chance that you're not going to stray too far from that. So I think with this generation, a lot of them have the knowledge of, doing better things with their money. Like, I don't think that they're persuaded per se by the bling bling era. Now, I can say this, I think the social media era is very prevalent, and that wasn't around, when we were around. That's but right. I just think that this generation is a little bit, is much more, I should say, financially aware than we were. I don't think we were, completely financially aware, just because, again, we were a part of that bling bling era, and all we saw was, when you first get, like I said, that paycheck, you go out and you splurge on the things you always want to splurge on. But I think now these kids are being educated at a much younger age from so many people on, how to be financially smart. So I do think you're going to have some knuckleheads, because I think with anything, you're going to have knuckleheads. But I think of these kids are going to do the right thing with their money. But I also think, like you mentioned, I think that structure of college is going to always be there. Because again, we had some players when I was playing at the University of Miami. I'm not going to mention no names that were, getting, paid under the table. But again, we had coaches that knew that, and we had coaches that were able to keep all of us in line, on a daily basis. So I think as long as you have that structure of college, that structure of the coaches, and other coaches within the building, the program, and, academic advisors. So I think that these kids are going to have no choice but to stay on the straight and narrow path.
Right.
But, again, at the end of the day, you're going to have some knuckleheads. But I look at it like this. I'm happy that these kids are finally able to make money off like this, because I've always made, I guess, a comparison, and I was never in this position. Teammates that were, where imagine how it would feel to your campus bookstore or school store, and if you're number 2 for your football or basketball team or whatever team, and you see your jerseys on the racks and people are buying them 24/7, and people are walking around campus with the number 2 jersey on, and you're saying, wait, hold on, I can barely scrape up enough money, each and every month, to eat 3 meals a day, which, I think anybody wants to eat at least 3 meals a day. So I'm happy for, those players. And I understand those are big name players, but I'm happy for them that they get a chance to make the money off of, their image and likeness, because for so many years that specific college or program has been doing the same thing. And again, I think it's going to be great for even, the guys or the women that are on the, I guess, the bottom of the food chain. Because again, if someone can go home during the summer and put on a camp and, charge, camp dollars or $15, then hey, listen, that $2,500, $5,000 can do wonders for them for the summer. You know what I mean? So I'm happy for all college kids, whether it's, the guys like, I'm going to throw out like the guys like Tim Tebow's and Cam Newton. Again, I'm happy for the smaller ones, because again, like I said, if you can go home during the summer, put on the camp, again, that money can go a long ways, man. And, staying you for the upcoming.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Because I think a lot of kids in our communities got the short end of the stick, either because we were poor, and they'd be like, "Oh, I bought you bought a suit for this, that, and the third. So this, and this has to happen to you." Yeah. Like, really? A suit, a pair of shoes for him to look respectable and decent, and you're going to violate him with all this and all that? Yeah. It was just too much. So I am glad, I am glad that they're actually getting a piece of the profits and how the whole thing works with them now, so they can feel valuable, so to speak, because nobody likes to be used. You see what I'm saying? And just to use them, and you can just say, "Oh, I'm giving you a scholarship, so that should be good enough." But you're making billions on TV money. You're making this on this, that, and the third. And I'm sitting here and I don't even have a meal pass to eat. Come on, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's true. That's true, though. That's how most colleges, like when I went to college, and with the football field, and the coach was like, it was the HBC, the only black school. Mm-hmm. And we went there. And one of the coaches, one thing that I like about some of the schools, they give them meal passes. To go in the cafeteria, eat lunch, whatever. So they look out for them a little bit better than some of the major colleges, like some kind of name, but you look out a little better because ABCs are different. They have more criteria, and none that come back.
Right.
Right. So, like, look at that. I say, like, Cam, like Warren Moon, he came from HBC school. He gave a lot back. There's a lot of players big name players that came back and gave to the school to help them out. Now, to say that translates a little bit more, I want to say, like, when your mindset when you're young, like you say you played Carolina first year and you got traded to the Texans. Like, what was your mindset to help young kids transition out of that, say that same happened to them? Like, you got drafted, you don't know why he got traded his first year.
Well, okay, let me start by saying I didn't get traded. I I got waived.
I know you didn't trade him.
I got waived.
Traded.
The best advice I can give young kids, and it's tough because I live by the ideology that the best teacher in life is experience. I tell people, you can sit back all day, all at night. You can tell someone, hey, don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, but at the end of the day, that person is going to learn the best when they have to go through that specific experience. But, the best advice I would give is that if you are fortunate enough to make it to that level, understand first and foremost that this is your job. This isn't a hobby anymore. Now, again, I understand that, at that level, we are still kids playing a kid's game and getting paid a king's ransom for it. But you have to have the mindset, okay, that this is no longer college. Because I tell people, in college, you come in with a group of guys. That's your freshman class.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And there's a good chance that all of you guys are going to be there for at least 3 or 4 years. Now, the ones that may leave early, they'll be there for 3 years. And the ones that stay their entire time, they're going to be there for 4 years. But when you get to that next level of the NFL, I mean, teams change each and every year. I mean, when Houston and blessed to be in Houston for 6 seasons, I mean, every year the team changed. Now, again, we had our core group of guys that, stayed from year to year, but those were the guys that were getting paid good money. But I mean, to think that your rookie class is going to be with you through the entirety of, your contract, which is, drafted rookies get a 4-year contract and undrafted rookies get a 3-year contract. I mean, it's just, you can't think that way. So you have to approach it as a business. And what I mean by that is you really have to understand, okay, this is my job now. So now I have to take this game serious. This game has to become my life. I have to go home. I have to study this game. When I show up at work, I have to be attentive. I have to be all about football. And I think that's the hardest transition and the biggest transition that, kids coming from college to the NFL have to make. And some are able to deal with it. Like myself early on, had a hard time dealing with it. And it took a wake-up call to get waived to say, okay, whoa, this is a job now, because I expected to have a 3-year contract with this team, but they let me go after a year. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I mean, it's tough, man, but I think that's the best way I can describe it, and that's the best advice I can give to college players that are heading into the NFL, or college players currently now that are aspiring to be in the NFL.
Nice. Let me we're actually running out of time here. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Twitter. I am on IG, but my IG, I'm a different person on IG. Being like on Twitter, I interact a lot more. So you can find me on my Twitter. It's Rashad, Rashad. My middle name Jamal, AAL, letter B. So Rashad Jamal B. And I'm always just giving. Listen, I don't really give hot takes. I mean, I give nothing but honesty. I mean, I tell people, if you follow me on Twitter, you may be offended sometimes, you may not be offended, but that, you'll get the honest me. I mean, I'm never going to sugarcoat nothing, or I'm never going to, I'm never going to be a company man. You know what I mean? I'm always going to give the take that I want to give, and hey, either you like it, or either you don't. But that's where you can find me. I'm on Twitter. Again, it's Rashad, Rashad, Jamal, Jamaal, and the letter B, Rashad Jamal B.
Nice.
Well, listen, sir, we thank you for being on the show. We
thank you guys
appreciate you, man, for coming on. We definitely want to have you again. We want to talk about social media. We want to talk about we want to talk about your job at the I think you said you're a local broadcaster and everything, man. We want to talk about all of it. We want to talk about mentorship. We just running out of time. Yeah, man, let's go get it. But we definitely appreciate you, brother, for taking time out and speaking with us today.
Well, definitely. And hey, my favorite speech everybody love to hear me say, welcome to the family, brother.
That's right.
We all family now, man.
Thank you.
Leaders, we got you. We got you. Anything you need us for, we here for you, man.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
We appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man. Great interview, George.
Told you.
But I got proof it. I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna send it to him. I'm gonna send my picture when I was that big, George. You saw my picture.
No, you got to send him the video. He don't believe you ran that 4.7. Word up.
But back then, back then didn't have video. See, back then we have so cameras and stuff like that we have now. Like we can film everything. Back then, all the team camera, it was pretty much gone. I mean, you can't really find them no more. Sucks, but hey, I did special team too.
It is what it is.
I played special teams. I played kick return. I did it all. I was the first man down there, George. Again, I was faster than donuts.
Yeah, that's true.
No fun day, but hey, I'll tell you, it was hard work though, George. It wasn't easy though. It was
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. It's work every day.
Season, I worked out all season. I had to work out, so I had to work out weeks into the season, and during the season I continue to work out. I had to keep that weight, so I had to keep working out. I kind of did some of what a bodybuilder does, but I had to eat. Cause I had to constantly lift weights, and trust me, it does pay off. After a while, Joe, I ain't lie. It does, it does play a part on your health, a big part on your health. Cause you don't drop weight after you start playing. It does take a lot of toll on your body though. If you don't break down afterwards,
right?
I mean, we got some people like Reggie White, who didn't drop weight as fast as he wanted to after he retired, and it played a part in his health also. I mean, a lot of players when we were bigger, like for example, Michael Strahan, he don't look nothing like he played football. He dropped all his football weight like crazy.
Oh yeah, and he understood he didn't have to carry it anymore.
Exactly. He's one of the few guys to understand that once you start playing football, you don't need to weigh 400 pounds anymore. Right. You don't need to weigh 500 pounds anymore, 340 pounds, because now you're a normal citizen. And now you work on your health more. You can work on becoming plant-based and stuff like that, be better, healthier. So, I mean, that's some tips to look out for, too, as you get older. Remember, once you retire,
drop the weight. Definitely all go. Well, hey, this is George.
Hey, this is Frazier.
And that was Real Talk with George and Frazier. Peace, y'all.
Peace.